Good evening, Chair Cusworth and Board of Directors. I'm Dee Pearson, the Aquatics Supervisor. I'm here tonight to talk to you a little bit about what we've been doing for the last couple of years that's worked really well, and just to share a little bit with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Safe Passage swim program that was established this past year, and then my coordinator will come up, Xavier, and talk to you about our lap swim registration program that we started during COVID, actually. All right. Oh, yeah, I wanted to start off with this slide as a reminder that everyone knows the dangers of water and what happens and what could happen. I've had a few lifetime experiences that to know that everything can be prevented. This last sentence here, more than 90% of drownings deaths occur in low and middle income communities, with children under the age of 5 being at the highest risk. These are the kids that we've always wanted to target and get out there and get those kids in swimming lessons, trying to figure out where they are, how come they're not coming to the pool. So reaching out to our own community, we worked with Tim Hagel, very excited that he came to us last winter. And he said, hey, Dee, why don't we, start this program? We have a grant of $27,000 and, let's start off with some swim lessons. We'll provide the transportation and then work on everything else. It was super. We met several times for coffee and had several meetings throughout the next few months. When we came back, Tim told me that 84% of the children there at Safe Passage cannot swim. So that's a huge number. So we wanted to make sure we got those kids into our swimming program. All right, so the underserved. So we currently already know that if you do swimming lessons, that it's going to reduce your risk of drowning. Okay, so what are some of those limits? What are we up against? Why aren't these people coming to our pools? So financial insecurity, of course. So we're going to check that off. Transportation limits, even though it's skyrocketed this last fall season, we check that off. Language barriers, we got a lot of volunteers to come out and help. That were bilingual and threw them in the water. Even some of the older kids from Safe Passage, the 13, 14-year-olds jumped in the water to help their younger siblings. And then equipment, something like, we don't think anything about, but a simple swimsuit instead of swimming in their t-shirts and jeans. We provided swimsuits for them as well. Since we were so excited about this program, Tim said we'll start it during the summer, but we came back and we said, no, we'd like to do a pilot program and start in the spring. So we put it out there. We went to the community, they have a little flea market on Saturdays once a month. We went out there, we did some registration, Xavier and I, and we ended up getting on eval day, 84 people totally coming out. So of those 84 people, we were able to get the first 44 into swimming lessons for the spring semester. The remaining, they're like bummed that they couldn't get in. So we went back and we regrouped and we said, hey, you know what? We're renting this bus for $800. Everybody gets on the bus and everybody comes to the pool for that 2-hour block. And then we'll do swimming lessons with whoever we can for 30 minutes. We had 5 instructors, and the rest of the time after that, the hour and a half when they're done, they can practice their skills that they learned. And that's actually where they got the most benefit, was that hour and a half of practice after. So you can see here on this photo, they, just goofing around. So we ran the program for spring, and then summer we did it at Newbury Park High School. Super successful. They love Newbury Park High. We did it in the smaller pool, and we ran it again this fall. We were able to get a total of 130 youths through the program in 3 seasons. In addition, we were able to provide swimsuits, transportation, swim equipment, and then we had a lot of help from Grandma with Love, Adelante, and the Nayhouse family, who donated a big chunk. Here's just some simple pictures. The kids enjoyed themselves. We bonded with quite a few of these families, hard workers, very diligent. Here's a short video of after the lesson. So you can see this is, she's practicing and just a simple water exposure. So many parents even came up to us and they're like, can we learn to swim? And they always are looking after each other, which is super cool too. And these two little kids are siblings, and they started the program in the spring, and they came religiously every single Saturday for 3 seasons, and they technically got a lesson every time. This mom was super helpful with us, and she's so excited, and she'll be back in the spring as well. Some other shots. Sometimes when we couldn't get the bus, we had to rent vans. So there's a bunch of kids in the van, and so fun. So our plans are underway to continue the Safe Passage program through the spring. Years ago, Tim came to me at like 2012 or something, and he asked me, hey, let's get a swim program going. So we tried to do it up at Warwick, but we couldn't because the pool wasn't up to code, and we didn't have enough money for transportation. And I think we actually tried for like 2 or 3 more years after that, and it just wasn't working. And for some of you that go way back, we used to do it over at where the Safe Passage is off in Newbury Park, way back in the 90s. We ran swimming lessons, but yeah, so that's it. I'm going to introduce Xavier up here, and he's going to talk to you about the lap swim program, and then I'll take questions after so he can go through his portion too. Xavier.
Thanks, Dee. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. My name is Xavier. I'm the boring one of the two, so I apologize in advance. So we're gonna go to the next slide. Perfect. So this is our lap swim reservation system. So we're kind of keeping on the same theme. How are we accessible to our community? Dee just talks about a program that we are offering, and now we want to kind of focus on the health and fitness side for our community itself. So the lap swim reservation system really came into play during COVID. We had to have a system in place to allow people to come use the facility and track everyone that was entering the facility. And we toyed with the idea of using like Sign Up Genius and the admin site, setting up classes every day for people to swim at, maybe doing a pen and piece of paper and having lifeguards sanitize individual pens. We realized that wasn't feasible. So luckily, Melissa came to us, our lovely service manager. She's like, hey, we have a racquetball system that's not really being utilized right now. Why don't we kind of switch gear and make that a lap swim reservation system? So that's where the birth of that came from. And you guys can see right here, it was a really, really simple site. You choose your facility that you want to swim at, 7 days populate, you can reserve up to 7 days out. And then you could choose lanes and then reserve each lane by time. And people prefer certain lanes depending on depth, the sun, accessibility to stairs, wind, smell, bunch of different things. I don't know, the lifeguard, view the lifeguard, who knows, All right. Next slide here. This slide specifically shows you the numbers of reservations on the reservation system specifically. One of the biggest fears that Dee brought to me when we were kind of deciding what do we need to do for the reservation system was, are the seniors able to access the system? And we were kind of going back and forth. Well, how are we going to get the older population back into our facility if they don't have access to computers, not tech savvy? Lo and behold, we found out that the seniors are the quickest to the reservation system every morning. Our community pool is booked every day. But this kind of shows you, we just chose random days since we've had the reservation system. It's pretty even between the adults ages like 12 to 61 and then seniors 62 to around 85-ish. It's pretty even. Orange kind of depicts the seniors and the green depicts the adults, which encompasses youth and on teens and all that as well. So we're pretty proud to say we get around 130 to 150 people accessing the reservation site per day. So if you kind of multiply that by the days of the week, the month, I can't do basic math right now. Maybe someone has a calculator, but it's pretty staggering. It's pretty awesome to see. So this slide we're going to spend a little more time on, but this kind of shows the revenue that we kind of gained through the reservation site, the lap swim reservation site, and kind of the benefits. So in 2019, as you can see, it was kind of low. We didn't have the reservation site. Obviously COVID happened. We didn't actually close until March of 2020. Luckily we reopened in June of 2020, only a couple months closed. We're proud to say we were one of the first facilities open in Ventura County, one of the first fitness facilities open in Ventura County. So we did get a head start. In 2019, because we were so quick to the gun, the university, Cal Lutheran University also approached us and said, hey, can you guys help us open? With that came a really beneficial partnership where in exchange for lifeguards, we now have access for public swim in the university, which has never happened before. So we're really stoked on that. So in 2020, as you guys can see, our revenue skyrocketed. And this is specifically racquetball reservation or lap swim reservation only. This doesn't include lessons. It doesn't include rec swim, permit groups. This is specifically reservations only. So as you guys can see, I mean, we surpassed 200,000 in 2020. Granted, university had no programs, no university athletics. The community pool was solely lap swimming. We had very minimal lessons. So we were open 7 days a week, all day, providing hours for our lifeguards as well. In 2021, obviously with return of athletics and university, our time in the university pool kind of became a little bit limited. And then expansion of our own programs limited the hours of open hours for the public. But if you guys can see from 2019 to 2021, we're still surpassing what we were doing pre-reservation system. And then currently right now, just from the start of the fiscal year, July 1st of 2022 to current, we've already surpassed what we were doing pre-reservation system. Part of coming out of the post-pandemic era, we were thinking, do we kind of go away from the reservation system? We're currently one of, I think maybe the only one left with the reservation system in Ventura County itself. We meet with different aquatic agencies twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, and everyone told us, "Oh, we're gonna ditch it. We're gonna go back to the old way." And Dee and I kind of went back and forth, like, "Oh, do we keep it? What are the benefits?" So we decided to kind of ask around our lap swimmers. This is George and Sandy Oaks. They bring watermelon to our staff. They are our favorites. They also bring them treats and food, so they're really awesome. But these are a couple of quotes. You guys can read them on your own, but basically, you know, our majority, I would say 95%, if not more, prefer the reservation system. They liked having their own lane. The benefits of COVID, no one likes sharing anymore. I like my own space, so people like having their own lane. They like being able to make reservations, knowing that they have the lane to themselves and be able to plan the rest of their week. They're not guessing to see if the pool is available and there's lanes or not. So Carol, Long, Pam, and George, we love them. But just to kind of close our presentation, you know, the COVID really kind of opened our eyes. Pre-COVID, we thought we were, you know, representing our community well. We thought we were offering enough programs, enough open hours to the public. But coming out of, you know, COVID and realizing the amount of people that wanted to access our facility, we kind of sat down and how are we going to continue to offer more programs and more hours to the public to be a little bit more accessible, since we kind of got complacent prior to COVID. So coming out of COVID, you know, we're gung-ho, we're always busy expanding our programs, offering more and more hours. Feel like we're never closed anymore, but that's okay. We love it. So with that, Dee will take all of your questions, unless you have a question for me specifically, but I'm going to give it back to Dee.
So questions, Director Lang.
Yes, Xavier, I have a question specifically for
Of
you.
course.
I've got one for D too.
Oh, okay. You want to go D first or me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why were the other organizations ditching the reservations? Where was it failing them?
It is a lot of work to maintain lanes. So we have to open and close lanes daily, depending on permit groups, swim lessons. I mean, it's a constant. I mean, Dee and I spend on average 2 hours a day on just maintaining lanes. Like the first thing I do in the morning is check lanes a week out, plus our calendar, plus staff and programs. So it's a lot of work. And most agencies just didn't want to spend the manpower. They just want to go back to walk-ins, first come, first serve.
D, the swim instructors for Tim Hagel's group, what is the feedback that you got from them and their experiences working with, passages?
Sure. They actually appreciate it, more than the traditional classes. So they know that they want to be there. Their parents aren't forcing them to be there. I don't think we had any criers, which is amazing. So, yeah, they enjoy it. We don't have a problem filling that spot. I wish we could do more, you know.
And then I assume you continue, to plan for next season with safe passages?
Yes. Yeah, we hope, we've had a couple offers. The Manzanita principal wanted to bring his whole second grade. We've always had a vision to do no second grader. I mean, to give every second grader a swimming lesson and in the Canal Valley. And the Manzanita principal wants to do that, but I guess the school district shut him down. So because they can't do it during school time. So
Thank you both.
you're so welcome.
Good presentation.
Any other comment? Director Nichols?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. First, Dee, since you're right there, thank you for the presentation. This is fantastic.
Oh,
We'd
thanks.
heard so much about how the aquatics program was kind of like the lifesaver of the community for the last couple of years when nothing else was available and
Yeah.
numbers, I'd heard that they had gone up because of the, availability of the CLU pool, which was fantastic. That
Mhm.
we could continue to use that. But with the safe passages, I was just curious, is there a different curriculum or different program that you're using aside from any languages? Is it like, I know you've got all these little different names for the types of programs that you
Right.
use. Is it like just the same as one of those, or is this a unique and different program?
The reason we did the pilot was to check all this stuff out, and we decided, after running it traditional in the spring, that we are going to do like just non-swimmers and beginners starting in the summer and the fall. And we have cue cards now that we use, if there's a language barrier for us.
And is the curriculum the same as some of the other programs that you
Oh,
do for
yes,
beginners,
yeah.
intermediate? It's
Yes.
nothing is different. It's just how you apply it to this.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
we just, we get 3 kids show up, they all want to be together. So,
okay.
they all can't be together because there might be a different level. But so that's why we just started naming them beginners and, everybody's going to learn a back float and front float. So,
Oh, that's fantastic.
thank you so
Uh,
much.
And the other part that I wanted to say to both of you with the parts of your presentations is the creativity that we've seen over the last couple of years.
Mhm.
I think Xavier was commenting about, even just the reservation system, we had to do something different.
Right,
And just the creativity from top to bottom of the organization, it never ceases to amaze me as to how you folks just figured it out at your level, said, hey, we need something that works, find the resources to make it do. We got some great resources up and down the district. So thank you
Right.
for doing that.
and we
and-
really, what Xavier was saying about, that some, the other districts aren't doing it, we really reached out to our people, our lap swimmers. And, they'd say, oh, give me the weekend to think about it, or give us a little time. And our advisory board, we asked them, and everybody wanted to think about it. They all have come back. We haven't gotten one that has said, open up. Everybody, we probably have 100 people that we've talked to.
Hmm.
We got a little list.
Wow.
Yeah, not one person wants to go back to the way it was.
Well, and the other thing I was going to add to that point is, as you folks kind of get your routine, and you kind of know how things work and you try to do your programs, and then something has to tweak and you have to do it differently. There's a tendency to want to go back to what was normal or what was comfortable or what was convenient. But if the community is pressing forward for something more and it can be done, and you found a way to do it, thank you. That is awesome to hear because, our whole goal is to serve the public. And
Right.
that's what we're here for. We're public servants to do
Right.
that. And I think there just was a good example of how you recognize, yeah, we can do things better, differently. Maybe it's a little extra time, a little extra effort, but the community is better served. So thank you for doing
Right.
that.
Oh,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you, Doug.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On that note, Dee always makes, when we have meetings and stuff with our managing staff, she always says, our excuse can't be because we've always done it in the past. That's why we do it. So. It's Dee.
All right, thank you.
Director Huffer?
Yeah, first of all, I just wanted to compliment you guys on the Safe Passage program. mean, there's so many neat things that Tim has organized for that group, but as you pointed out, these are the kids that rarely have a chance to get swim lessons. They're the ones that are most likely to, whether it's a pool in the residential area or something, if they don't know how to swim, they're the ones that are most likely to end up drowning. So the fact that you folks with Tim's help are providing this program is absolutely spectacular. You mentioned the grant. Where did that grant, the $27,000 grant come from?
Melissa, do you know where that came from? Tim?
I'll jump in. I believe he got a city grant for, I believe, $8,000 or $10,000, and then Safe Passage as a nonprofit picked up the rest of it. So however Tim got his dollars.
Typical way of twisting arms. He's pretty good at that, so.
Yeah, Safe Passage is doing very well. They'll be around for a long time.
The lap swimming, how many hours a day is lap swimming available to those folks?
6 a.m. to about 8 p.m. on some days.
Oh, wow.
We have lap swim, I mean, during programs and some permit groups like, oh, you can open the lanes and we'll just rent half the pool. So I mean, we're pretty much open all day. I mean, there's not a time where you can't swim. Yeah.
I'm assuming that there are certain times though that the university takes over the Samuelson pool.
Yeah. So from like the university side, from like 2 to 6 on some days, yeah, it's pretty much closed. 9 a.m. we close every day for maintenance on that side. But from like 6 to 8, 10 to noon, like 6 to 8 p.m. we're usually open. And if the Samuels is not open, usually the community pool side is open as well. So we'll have lanes in the community pool side.
Okay. And I know the hours are posted somewhere, but just the open public swimming, not lap swimming, but just for the kids or grandkids to come around and splash around for a while.
Yeah, we always have the shallow end of the community pool closed in the afternoon time on the weekends. So Saturday, Sunday, from, I would say, yeah, 12 to 3. And then from March all the way to October, and we just closed the weekdays. So we're usually open Monday through Friday, 12 to 3 as well. So
Okay.
we really only November through February do we really close during the week for public swim.
Okay. And just a comment about maybe a suggestion about the public swimming that, I mean, I certainly wasn't averse to paying it, but, came down with 2 grandkids and 3 parents and 4 grandparents. And to have all the parents and grandparents who are just there to watch the grandkids, getting charged for each one, and maybe not.
Was it during the summer?
I'm sorry?
Was it summertime? Was it during the summer?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, well, you're taking up space.
Just standing there.
It's, we always, we tell everyone, I mean, you enter the facility, I mean, you're going to get the same care no matter what, if you're in the pool, out the pool, emergencies happen anywhere. So, especially in the summertime, we're so busy and we require more staff. And it's not really the kids in the water. It's more so the staff and the management staff have to watch the patrons on the deck and the ones around the corner and, the kids getting into the shed and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's why we have that entry fee.
All right, just sort of jerking your chain a little bit. Anyway, thanks for the swimming programs. Thanks so much for the Safe Passage program.
We'll get you
I
some
think it's
tokens.
spectacular.
So do we have any other comments? Well, I wanted to say that growing up in Southern California, I think some of my best memories are swimming. And especially since we have the ocean so nearby, it's almost an essential thing to know how to swim. So that's a wonderful thing to provide. And my children the same way. I remember I wrote kind of a long poem to them one time about growing up. And one of the lines in the poem, I won't recite the entire poem. But one of the lines in the poem was, during the summers you swam in the pool, because that's what they did. And so it's such a shame to think that there's some children that didn't have that opportunity. And when you were talking, it made me feel good about the generosity that we have in our community, that people would donate money so that people who couldn't afford swim lessons and didn't have bathing suits, that they would be happy to donate so that they could. And even probably to children they might never know, or, just to anonymously be generous is, really says a lot for our community and also for safe passage and our community pools, partnering together. And then I had a lot of questions about the pool hours of when people could go down. That sounded pretty interesting to me, actually. My question is how hot is that pool? I don't like cold water too well. Do you heat that pool in the winter or?
The standard response is 80 to 83 degrees year round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the community pool side, depending on the day. So we turn up and down the heater depending on how hot it is. So in the summertime, hovers around 80, 81 degrees. In the wintertime, we hover around 82, 83. And then the competition pool, the Sanderson Aquatic Center, is 79 to 81, around there.
Do you always have availability or do people have to get on a wait list on the reservation?
We're full pretty much every day, but we leave 5 lanes in the Sanderson Aquatic Center for straight up walk-ins. And then we also always have people that don't show up in the community pool. They make reservations, but they don't show up. So we always accept walk-ins as well.
And do people pay online with credit card?
Yeah, they pay online with credit cards. They can pay by credit card when they first arrive as well. And then, or by cash as well.
Can they buy like 10 swims?
Yeah, we have punch cards available. So the ones that continuously walk in, they'll just buy swims ahead of time with punch cards. And then we'll punch it every time they come in.
Well,
Oh.
punch the card, not the person, right?
Yeah, the card. I do.
Quick question,
Yeah.
somewhere along the way, I got one of these little wooden coins for one free swim. Are those still valid?
Every time I see you walk by in the morning, I'm just gonna throw you a token.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. I really
Sure.
enjoyed that. Oh, yes, Director Lang.
Yes, when, certain vacations and summer vacations specifically at the schools, how do you integrate those schools into the main program?
You mean the lap swim reservation?
Yeah, all swimming at the high school pools. Right, isn't that part of our summer program?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you integrate that? All of a sudden you've got this excess, or not excess, but more availability. You have people on the waiting list, you just automatically put them in that queue?
Yeah, they're already set. So the facility is already in. So the seasonal ones like Newberry Park High School, and Thousand Oaks High School, they're already in the reservation site. And then we just have to hire more staff. So it's always been the golden ticket, how do we get staff?
And one follow-up question, how many patrons do those 2 pools add to our total, revenue and so forth?
We had a very good summer. We made budget, at least I know, for the end of our fiscal year. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Which I would want to interject that it's not typical for public pools to
Right.
break even. Like break even's not normal for a
Right.
public pool. So they do a fantastic.
Yeah, we have the city of Oxnard calling us every day because they're building a facility, so like, what are you doing? How's it going? So, but, it's just, a lot of it's just word of mouth and having repeat customers. They tell 2 friends and so on and so on. So, all those pools fill. It's crazy. And Newberry Park is, a big, because we want to serve that side. And it's always been, that's always been like a great pool for us, always full. Tom brought his kids up over there. So Tom's a figure there, so. Hey, Tom. Yeah, you've done it. We have a few, Tom rules now, so.
We're dead serious.
Yeah. Director Holt.
I just want to, first of all, thank you for the presentation. It was great. But I mean, it's amazing what you do and how many people are involved and the children too. And it's fantastic. When I was young, I had to go a long way to find a pool to swim in. So anyway, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We all
All right.
round up everyone.
Thank you very much, you guys.
Okay,
Very
thank
nice.
you.
Thank you, guys.